This week's video is very much an experiment to see if we can make a decent loaf of bread using plantain flour. What you're about to watch is me developing this recipe in real time with no idea if it will work or not. Watch until the end to see how it turns out. As always, I'll put the full ingredient list in the description below if you want to try this as well. In a large bowl, I mix 2 cups of plantain flour with xanthan gum, which is used to reduce crumbling in gluten-free baking. I also added 1 tablespoon of instant yeast and baking powder to ensure some extra leavening. After mixing all the dry ingredients together, I added 1 cup of plain unsweetened soy milk and a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar for acidity. When I noticed that the dough was too dry, I added an extra half cup of milk. After that, the dough came together fairly easily. I recommend lightly oiling your hands before handling the dough as it is quite sticky. You don't need to knead it for very long as you would a traditional loaf because there is no gluten in this flour that needs to be developed. You just want to make sure that all the ingredients are properly combined. I put the dough back into the bowl, covered it with a clean cloth and left it to rise for 1 hour. To be honest, I wasn't totally sure if the yeast would react adequately. After an hour, the dough had puffed up just a little bit with a few cracks appearing on the surface of the dough. I rolled it into a log shape, again with lightly oiled hands, and found that slapping the dough helped create a slightly smoother surface. I placed it in the dish I would eventually bake it in, covered it and left it to rest a second time. I decided to sprinkle some sesame seeds on top of the loaf, mainly for aesthetic reasons, so I brushed the top of the dough with a little yogurt to act as the glue. I baked the loaf in a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 40 minutes. Once baked, I left it to cool before slicing into it. The bread felt heavy and dense. It cut quite nicely and held its shape, so the xanthan gum was effective in preventing any crumbling. Looking at the crumb, it's definitely not light and airy. It reminded me more of a dark rye or spelt bread. Tearing into a slice, the texture definitely looked cakey and there was a bit of moisture in there at least. In terms of the taste, it's pretty earthy and there is a mild aftertaste, but I don't think it's too much of a problem if you're eating the bread with toppings like avocado, vegan butter, or hummus. As for the smell, you do get a hint of the yeast, which is quite pleasant. I'd love to know what you think in the comments. Should I try another version? What do you think I should do differently next time? Making good gluten-free bread is definitely an art and can be a real challenge. It often requires mixing different types of gluten-free flour to achieve something close to regular wheat bread. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe because I post a new video every week, and I will catch you next time. Bye!